question now. Yes.
Any question from Germany?
I had a question, but I got the answer before, not all of it. There's a hadith as well that a baby can become 120 days old and then it has a soul. And my question was that what happens to the babies if they die before they're already almost born, if they come to paradise? Because there's also a saying that Abraham is taking care of the children.
No, I have answered this question many times, but in this particular question, I think you require to know the difference between an embryo which is wasted before 120 days, when the spirit is breathed into it. Is that what you mean? And the stage, embryonic stage, for which follows. Strangely, only yesterday or the day before in Hartlepool, a young man asked the same question exactly. The fact is that as long as the fertilization has taken place, the whatever results is live. It has life. There is no doubt about that. So when it is said that the spirit will be breathed into that, which means it's over and above the properties of life, which are shared by all animals alike, including humans. So when we mark this distinction between just life and the life in which God has breathed a soul, or angels have breathed a soul, the difference is mentioned in the Quran, that when this child is delivered, he is delivered Samiyam Basira, and also with the faculty of mind to decide, Fuad, with which he can decide between right and wrong. So these are the things which are highly important, because although other animals also see and hear, but they do not have that ultimate analytic machinery or highly organized computer in the mind, which is given two choices, to take the right course or the wrong course. They follow their intuitions blindly. They don't have any particular authority to disregard their intuitions and whatever messages are imprinted on their genes. For instance, a cow cannot eat the flesh of animals, and it would not. It would die of hunger rather than eating the flesh. Any beast, like tigers, would die in hunger instead of eating the vegetables which normally make the diet of vegetarians. So is that piety on the part of the lions that they do not eat vegetables? Is it a piety on the part of the cow that it does not eat the flesh? So the decision making is done in a very vague way. The decision making has a very small area of decision, and the larger options between this and that are not provided to them, nor they have been given the instruments to be used for both options. They are not given teeth like humans, which are similar to the teeth of vegetarians as well as to those who are canine, who eat flesh and so on. So that's just one small example. But far more than that, when we talk of human life as compared to the non-human life, you find a distinction in human life of going beyond its small boundaries. to such vast distances that it's unbelievable in animals that they could ever imagine such things. All animals are aware of their small surroundings and not beyond that. They never sit and contemplate what sort of animals kabutars or the pigeons are. If they are cats, they eat the pigeon when they come their way, but they never contemplate on the nature of pigeons. They never contemplate on the nature of cows and the nature of horses. Can you imagine a cat sitting in a corner and imagining what sort of thing horses are? Or trying to experiment on worms. And more than that, no animal can think of beings which are completely beyond their normal way of life, which never cross their normal way of life, like angels, like Satan and things. And they cannot conceive of any world beyond their own world. Even an animal born in a jungle of Africa could not even dream of other parts of Africa to which it belongs. But to think of an animal contemplating the world map and other continents that exist, it's absolutely beyond those animals, however developed they may be. But among humans, you find this distinction. They can grow beyond their limited world to an unlimited journey of conception. They go to the corners, very corners of the universe through calculations, through mathematical, higher mathematical formulae and this and that, but they do conceive something which is absolutely beyond animals to do. Now, all this indicates that they are now prepared for communion with God. Had they not been given all these qualities, it would be impossible for humans to be in communion with God. So that, I believe, is the line of demarcation which is created at the moment when life is breathed into the embryo after 120 days. If it dies before, it will be just any animal. So for it to be preserved for the hereafter and transferred to the hereafter is not sensible. So but still there is one important thing, that even when the life is breathed into the children within the uterus of their mothers, we have no knowledge of their ever being transferred to the life after, because Ahmad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has spoken of only such children who die of young age after they are delivered, not before they are delivered. So that quality of which we can refer to as human qualities against, different from the animal qualities, which begins to be nurtured at the time when the soul is breathed into the embryo, that goes on developing until the delivery. And before the delivery, if that something dies, it cannot be said that it had gained an independent existence. So it is a sort of no man's land. We see the differences very clearly between the living mass, which is before 120 days, and the developed something which appears after 120 days. Difference there is. And that is the difference which will make a human later on. But before the delivery, if they die, we have not heard of any mention of their being transferred from Muhammad from the about their being transferred to the hereafter. So those who are transferred to the hereafter are the souls of young babies who have once breathed into this world, and from then on they are under the care of God. When they die innocent, they are sent to a special place in heaven where, according to Hazrat sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Hazrat Ibrahim is given the charge of these babies to develop them until a time. We don't know whether a trial would be there or not, perhaps not, but they will be perfectly developed and brought up to be able to enjoy the life of heaven, or not hell, of course. No such babies are mentioned to have been given to hell. Right? Thank you.